Welcome to Education Plus, your podcast for education sector. We will be meeting with different types of individuals and pioneers in education, from higher education, early learning, K-12, private sector, to learn from their experiences, to learn from their adventures, their challenges, and their contribution to the education sector. Today we had Dr. Wafa Al Mansoori, Vice President of Institutional Effectiveness and Accreditation at the American University of Bahrain. She shared with us her journey, what inspired her to pursue a career in higher education, and what are the advices that she has for the young generation. What are the important lifelong learning skills that we should also be looking at. I hope you enjoyed the podcast with us. And where there's a will, there's a way. So, Dr. Wafa, thank you so much for joining us on Education Plus podcast today. And would love to learn more about your journey, about who you are, and what inspired you to be in higher education.
Okay. I'm Wafa Al Mansoori. Currently, I am the Vice President of Institutional Effectiveness and Accreditation at the American University of Bahrain. I did all my schooling in public schools. Finished my schooling, went to University of Bahrain, the public university at that time, got my bachelor degree, continued with my master's, and then continued with my PhD. Now, what inspired me to get into education was twofold. One fold was me wanting to learn more and get more information within the field that I was in. And at that time, to do a PhD, I was like, you would go into university. Nobody in the industry would want a PhD. The other thing, as we were talking earlier, I was taught mainly by male-dominant environment, all the faculty except a couple of courses, and they were not electrical or electronic courses.
So you were doing electrical engineering at that time, right?
Yes, by profession I studied electrical engineering in my undergraduate. Moved more toward microelectronics in my master's, and in my PhD I continued with microelectronics. So I studied, as I said, in University of Bahrain. In University of Bahrain I was taught by engineering drawing and computer science by a female. Otherwise it was all male. I went to Liverpool University. We were only 2 females studying in the program that was out of 30 individuals. And I did not have a single female faculty. I don't recall meeting a single female faculty in the department. I came back, I applied to the University of Bahrain, as I said, because I wanted to pursue my PhD, and I started teaching, and I loved teaching. Mm-hmm. But I was also aware that it was these students who are in front of me might not face another female faculty teaching them. Mm-hmm. So I bear on within my mind that it is my responsibility to show them that there could be a female faculty whom would be able to communicate to them good information they respect and they trust. It was for the male and the female, because the male will go later into industry and they will work and they will have female colleague. So they will remember another female that they have met. After 2 years, I went back into doing my PhD in America, Tufts University. Again, I did not have the privilege, by the way, of having any female faculty teaching me. And I was the only student doing PhD female. Then another student came. There was another couple of faculty teaching there, but I didn't take courses with them. So in a way, it has always been,
you had to shape the path as you were going, and be an inspiration to others. I mean, you had that.
I hope so.
I mean, you carried on that challenge and felt that that's something that is needed, so that you can inspire other young females to major in that.
Yes. It's basically showing them more than telling them. And whenever you show something, it sinks better.
It's more lifelong. It's a lifelong skill. That's true. Yeah. What do you think were the most important values that you had to carry with you during your journey? You had to keep hold of that, determination.
See, I have certain mottos that my father, God bless his soul, used to say all the time. He always said, "Al-amal ibadah." So for me, al-amal ibadah, work is worship. The other thing he always said was that أصل الدين المعاملة, the origin of religion is how you can deal with others and treat others. And he said, you are as young as you feel. Shabab shabab al-ruh.
That's true. Age is just a number.
Right. So this is for me something that I believe in. And of course, whenever you do something, you do it to your best. So these are mainly the main things that shaped my let's say my journey. Very simple, but it works.
But it's very inspiring as well,
Yeah.
and it is something that actually a lot of the young youth can definitely benefit from, because those values are lifelong. They're not generational,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So when you, in your current capacity at American University of Bahrain, you're currently the VP of Operational Effectiveness as well, correct?
Institutional effectiveness, yes.
And accreditation.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Like, what does that require? What does that entail in how you shape the operation or the culture at the organization, and making sure that all stakeholders are on board with you with that mission?
Okay. As a VP Institutional Effectiveness, you are in a way responsible to ensure that the way the institution operates holistically leads to achieving its mission and its strategic operation. You need to basically, I follow up with the figures and numbers and make sure that the university is going in the right direction. I provide information to others in relation to what is needed when it comes to accreditation. I ensure that all our policies and procedures are done in a way that they are harmonically moving together, and they are basically taking the university in the direction that it needs to move toward. It is not an individual work or a departmental work. It is a role that you support all the other team basically in order to move in the direction they are supposed to move. So that's mainly my
How do you ensure that all stakeholders are aligned to the vision that you're trying to set with those?
We of course have
strategies?
our President Council meeting, University Council meeting, Dean's Council. I sit in all these meetings, so I meet all the different stakeholders, be it the administrative part, be it the academic part. The other thing which is very important for me is the buy-in, is basically understanding what it is all about and acknowledging that the accreditation is a byproduct, not the end, not the target.
Yeah.
In other words, if you really work in a way that really provides good equality and that the operation is fit for the purpose of the institution, in a way, most of the accreditation standards, that's the purpose of the accreditation standards. So in a way, you don't do it because the accreditor wants you to do.
Yeah.
You do it because this is the best
value.
way.
Yeah.
And then you align with the accreditor.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot in making sure that you don't lose your campus and you end following what the accreditor wants and you become compliant. Compliance mode does not allow an institution to grow, but internal quality assurance makes the institution effective.
And continuous improvement, because that's what accreditation is about. Because you just mentioned it's not just a target that needs to be achieved, it's a continuous journey of continuous development, innovation, and making sure that alignment and the vision of the good quality that you want to present is transferable across all departments.
Yes, and if I may tell you about my story with my career, I think that will help a lot. I started, as I said, as an instructor at the University of Bahrain with my master's. Then I did my PhD. Then I came back, became a faculty member in the Electrical and Electronics department at University of Bahrain for 11 years. I taught. I was part of the the curriculum committee, development committee of the department. I was the coordinator of the electronic group. I was part of the accrediting committee. In 2007, Bahrain started its education reform. And I joined the education reform. And I became part of the team that established the quality assurance framework for the higher education sector in Bahrain. And I stayed there for 13 years, moved within the ladder, and stayed at the BQA for 13 years. Also, there was a time I covered the vocational education too. And that provided me with appreciation to the link between the higher education and the vocational education. So I was for a long period of time on the side of the table where I was in a way, I was the accreditor. Okay, we don't call it accreditation, quality assurance, but it is the same concept, right? I was assessing other institutions. And I always say it's very easy to be in the side of the opposition.
Yes.
Where you give recommendations.
Sitting at different sides of the table.
You need to do this, right?
Yeah.
Now I am on the other side of the table, right? And I'm wearing the same hat, but in a different place. Yeah. So it's like the circle is becoming full. I've had a good experience in being a faculty and the academic part of it. I was part of the regulatory body of the higher education institution. Now I am part of the management, the senior management of the institution. So this provides me with a good comprehensive view of why we are doing this, and why quality assurance is important, and why it's important to assess the effectiveness of the institution.
And the impact. Which is the bottom line of all accrediting bodies, is to focus on the impact on the learners, the impact on the institution overall.
And to remember through the whole process that we are there to serve the learners.
Exactly.
That's the main target.
The community, yes.
The individual who will come out and be part of this community. And this individual, when they come out, they are not just workers. I know lots of talks now these days is about employability, the importance of employability. I don't reduce the importance of the employability. It is very important. But I don't think university is only about employability. For me, university is about developing an individual, a whole learning experience. I remember when I was a student, and during my time, it was less, we had less exposure, we had less media or whatsoever, but the university opened my mind, not just to the specialization. No, it was relationship with friends, it was being active in extracurricular activity,
the wholesome for the holistic approach.
And it is very important that is
and with that being in mind, and with your extensive years of experience and the different hats that you had to wear and roles, now a lot of talk is about what is important as life skills.
Yes.
Because we talked about job skills, yes, qualifications, and being mastering a skill, of course, is important. But what are the most important life skills? There was some research that was done and identified 20 life skills, like from problem solving to critical thinking to creativity. But in your opinion, in your experience, what do you believe could be like the top 3 most important life skills that students should work on developing if they don't have it yet, for example?
I would say appreciation to lifelong learning is one of the most important things. And I would say that this carried me throughout my whole journey. Critical thinking is important, and analytical thinking together. You cannot be critical without being analytical, right? So they go hand in hand. So this is very important. There is something which is very important, numeracy and literacy. It's the basis for everything. We talk a lot about knowledge not being important, that knowledge now you can get it
accessible.
I kind of differ here with the idea of knowledge not being important. Basic knowledge is important, because if you don't have basic knowledge, you don't know if you are searching the right place or at the wrong place. You don't have the base to build on it.
To verify data that is being presented, even if it's AI.
Yes.
There's a lot of data right now that the young generation is just seeking AI's help and then copying and pasting and not understanding, as you said, the basic information should be there, the basic knowledge.
So basic knowledge is important. The ability to decipher the knowledge, that's why I said literacy. So literacy is very important. Literacy is not anymore the ability to read and write. Literacy is the ability to learn and pack your learning and then bring it back together in a different way.
To have metacognition, basically. Think about thinking and learning. So with those, life skills, being so important. What is also your advice if you had to go back in time, if you had to think, I'm a teenager again and I have this, life in front of me, what would be your advice to that individual, to that young person who has his entire life in front of them?
I would say pursue your passion. Know your passion and pursue it. Because if one is passionate about what they are doing, then they will work hard and they will learn more. They will go beyond what is needed to get the B or the A. They are doing it because they love it. But don't forget that discipline is also important, because within your passion there are areas that are not, they are boring, and you still have to do them. So that is very important. Widen your horizon. Widen your horizon. Read. Be exposed. Okay, you don't want to read in a book, read in an iPad. It's not the problem. You read in a phone or anything, right? Access knowledge. And access knowledge in a reasonable way. Do not depend that a message that comes in WhatsApp is the knowledge that you need. They say this in the media, and then that's the knowledge. That is not the knowledge. That's the surface of the knowledge. And enjoy life. Enjoy life.
Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure learning from you about your experience and about your advice to the young generation, and hope that this carries forward to our listeners and to our viewers. So thank you again.
Thank you for having me, and I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode of Education Plus podcast. And always remember, where there's a will, there's a way.